Welcome to Timeframe Thursday. And this is a really great quote from Jase Souder. Give yourself a shorter deadline. Give yourself a shorter deadline. it's, it's such a simple piece of advice, and yet it's one that we balk at constantly. Hello, as I wander down the roads in my own brain. Hello, my name is Christopher D'Armani, and I empower nonfiction authors just like you, so you can turn your dream of writing a book into your published reality. And one of the ways that I help you do that is by helping you set a deadline that actually challenges you, a deadline that scares you a little bit, a deadline that inspires you, and also a deadline that is completely within your capability to achieve. Because while those things may not seem be able to all be true for you in this moment, I absolutely assure you that they are and they can be. So with that, let's get down to a fundamental truth. And in the movie industry, we said this all the time. Work will expand to fill the time allotted. If we had 3 scenes to shoot in a day, it would take us 12 hours. If we had 17 scenes to shoot in a day, it would take us 12 hours. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. So this is just a universal truth that we will waste our time until the deadline is upon us. We will work as hard as we have to just to fit within those confines. But we fritter away a whole lot of time doing that, right? If you give yourself 12 months, for example, if you give yourself 12 months to write your book, you're going to spend the first 9 months or so really not doing much. You might start working on an outline, you may or may not. You might be inspired for like the first, 3 days. And then it's going to sit and it's going to collect dust for a while. So what I would suggest perhaps is that since you're going to fritter away those 9 months anyway, why not just cut them out of the process entirely? So does that thought terrify you a little bit? If it does, fantastic. And why do I say fantastic? Because what that means is that spike of fear is like, oh my goodness, that's something that I know in my guts I have to do, but to write the first draft in 3 months, that's not possible. Well, you're leaving out a couple of really important words there. In this moment, you're leaving out the words, for me. And here's the thing, those 2 words are a complete and utter lie. It is completely possible for you. It's completely possible for almost anyone. I can't say everyone because I forget the gentleman's name, but this is quite some time ago. This gentleman he woke up one day to realize that his body had deteriorated to the point where he could no longer move. He was confined to a hospital bed, and the only way he could communicate was by blinking his eyes. So, yet with that immense challenge in front of him, he still wrote a book and had it published. And he did that by blinking his eyes in some combination to identify the letter he wanted to write down next. Literally spelling out every single word of his entire book. So it's not possible for him to do it in 90 days, but my bet is that it's possible for you. And here's a really simple way to begin. Set aside one day, one single day, not even a full day. We're talking 4 or 5 hours, so that you can design, build, and complete your roadmap for author success. Truly, really, it's a simple thing to do. One day, work really hard, focus, and have that complete detailed roadmap for author success finished, so that the next day you can simply start writing your book. Sure, you could give yourself a deadline of a week to do this, and I actually teach this over 5 days, but I also think, as valuable as that process might be, I think a really focused, intent session, over 4 or 5 hours, where you get this done, it embeds you in the process, and it forces you to take it, what's the word I'm looking for? You place value on it because you're investing this much time and you're going this deep into your own mind, into your own heart about what you really want. I think that when you're done that process, you're not going to just let it sit there for 9 months, because you've understood, you had the experience of making a massive leap forward in a really short period of time. And that's why I love really short deadlines, because it forces me out of my comfort zone. into that amazing space where all the really great things happen in my life. And if you're honest with yourself, it's the same thing for you. Inside that comfort zone, it doesn't really matter that I don't work on my book for, 3 or 4 or 5 months, because, I can always do it later. I can always do it tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't exist. Now is the only moment we have. It's the only moment we have control over. And if we don't do it now, our book is going to be stranded on someday island, and it may never see the light of day. So why fritter away 6 days? I'm back to talking about this 5-day program or 5-day workshop where I walk you through this whole process. Sure, that's easier, but the problem with easy sometimes is that it doesn't force you out of your comfort zone. It may force you like an inch out, but I want to force you a mile out. I want to force you into that place where everything is technicolor, where everything is exciting, everything is challenging, everything's terrifying, and yet this is the path forward. That's where I want to get you. So did you feel another spike of fear then? If so, fantastic, because it means you're excited about the possibilities that just opened up for you. That's a really beautiful thing. I love kicking open the doors of possibility for you. That's the thing that drives me. With your Roadmap for Author Success completed, set a 90-day deadline for finishing your first draft. Do it right now. If you already know that you're going to do this, set that deadline right now. Mark it on your calendar, put it in big red letters, whatever you need to do, but set that thing, etch it in stone, and just commit to yourself to completing that process within that time frame. So did you feel another spike of fear? The thought of actually setting a hard deadline for completing your first draft? Because if you did, I think that's awesome. I love that that's terrifying you and exciting you all in the same moment. Because you can do it. You're capable of this. We're all capable of this. Well, almost all of us. I'll go back to my example of the gentleman who couldn't do anything except communicate by blinking his eyes. But you and I aren't in that position. We are able to communicate a lot easier than he was. But you might realize suddenly that there's some changes you need to make in your life in order to make this possible. You're going to have to make some short-term changes for some really long-term benefits in your life. Because once your book is finished and published and out in the world, once your book is changing the lives of the people you wrote it for, there is no better feeling in the world than being of that kind of level of service to others. There really isn't. So here's a really great way to get started. Go to authorcoach.click/roadmap and schedule a time for you and I to sit down and do this together. Yes, there's a price attached to it because this is a lot of work on both our parts. But what you're going to come out of this with, when you invest in yourself in this way, you're going to come out of this with a complete detailed roadmap for success. So you know every single moment how to move your book forward. There will be no questions left unanswered. That's the beauty of this process. And by doing it in a single day, you prove to yourself that you're capable of so much more than you think you are. That's one of the reasons I love doing it in this particular way. Yeah, the 5-day sessions, that 5-day workshop, that's fine. But it doesn't give you that same level of impact. It does not force you out of your comfort zone into that place where you have to go, that place where you absolutely must go if you want to turn your dream into a reality. So give that a thought. And if that sounds like something that both terrifies you and excites you, then go to authorcoach.click/roadmap. Very simple. I would love to see you and love to work with you to do that. It'll be a really interesting time. And let's say, for example, we don't get through it all in that initial session. I don't care. We'll move on and we'll do it again. We'll do it again the next day or the next week, whatever was going to work for your life. Because the purpose of this intense 1-day session is to get you away from that blank page to that place where you know exactly what you need to do every single day to write and finish and publish your book. All right? So with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and take Jase Souder's words to heart. Give yourself a shorter deadline. Maybe you want to do it in 60 days, not 90. I heartily applaud that. But whatever the challenging thing is for you, is do it. And if working with me is the thing that's going to help you, then great. I would love to do that. And if you want to do it on your own, I praise that too, because that's how I do a lot of things. I go to my coaches for specific stuff, but most of the stuff I want to try and figure out myself because I know I can. And I know it won't take me that long. But for the things that I'm challenged with on a really deep level, no, those are the things that I simply need to go to my coach for, because he has the solution. He's already been there. He's already done this, and that's been there, done that. Those are the people I want to talk with. Those are the people I want to learn from, because that's the only way to move my life forward. Probably the same for you as well. So again, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.